740-386-6580. Also located on the net at goodbackbadback.com. That's goodbackbadback.com.
Just gotta let it go. Earlier on in the week, George Dunster, one of his big claims to fame, not the only one, but one of the big ones, was working with Easter Straker in Lima in 1970s and 80s?
Yes.
Yeah. And Easter Straker in Lima was like Dorothy Fulltime was to Cleveland, Ruth Lyons, Madge here in Marion, pioneers in the broadcasting field, females. And I got to thinking, maybe people in Marion, when we had George on last time, don't know who Easter is. So, courtesy of WLIO, WIMA, WIMA? WLIO. IMA is the radio station. Right, okay. WILO in Lima, Ohio. Here's a little career retrospective of Easter Straker. Worth watching.
I came to work in Lima in 1960 at what was then WMNO-TV. For the next 16 years, I had various titles and positions with this station, and it's still very much a part of my life in that I continue to remember with fondness the people that I worked with, the associations, the friendships I made with people in this community during my tenure at WLIO. One of the most enjoyable and memorable assignments I had with this station was serving as a co-host of sorts with Easter Straker on her daily radio and TV programs. And if I might, I'd like to talk about my friend Easter for just a moment. Easter Straker was a Lima native who provided a valuable local presence with her program, Easter's Parade. She joined WIMA Radio in 1948, broadcasting a daily, live, one-hour program. And then in 1955, she added a daily, live television program to her schedule. And I joined her in 1960. Her program began with one black and white camera, and as Easter herself used to say, we tried a lot of things, we made a lot of mistakes, we were all new to the television business, and we just kind of developed and ad-libbed, and we learned as we went along. Easter called her program the living room of the air. She always felt that she wouldn't bring anyone into her viewers' living room that she wouldn't bring into her own. Many celebrities traveling through this area appeared on her program, as well as her regulars. Easter's regulars included various co-hosts through the years. Cliff Willis started, and I followed in 1960, and then George Dunster followed me. Promotion of local events and local activities was a priority on Easter's programs, and there was a constant flow of people promoting everything from bake sales to dog shows. A popular feature of Easter's Parade was the birthday chair. Youngsters from this area got a chance to sit in the chair, chat with Easter, get a handful of pennies from the penny jar, and then wave to someone or everyone at home. It was estimated on Easter's final TV broadcast, that was in 1984, that over 41,000 kids had been sitting in that birthday chair at one time or another, and they took home over 1 million pennies. That birthday chair is currently on display at the Allen County Museum. The one thing that I will always remember about Easter was her interviewing skills. I mean, they were flawless. She made it look so easy. As a former guest, Eleanor Roosevelt said of her, "Easter is truly the best. This is the most professional interview I have ever been a part of." The many celebrity guests through the years included Senator George Murphy, the Three Stooges, Henny Youngman, Fran Allison, Phyllis Diller, Vaughn Monroe, countless others. And no matter how many times you had seen a particular celebrity interviewed, Easter always managed to bring out some interesting fact or some tidbit that you'd never heard before. Easter always remembered and thanked her audience for their part in making her projects and her programs successful. From her last television program on this station, December 28th, 19...
To you.
Easter Straker died in April of 1992 after a lengthy fight with cancer. And although the voice of the gal who loved to talk about everything is now silent, her many deeds and projects will continue to remind us of her and what she contributed to this community. Those of us who had the opportunity to work with her during almost 30 years on the air are very proud of what she accomplished.
Boy, Chuck, does that, or George, does that bring back memories? Thinking of Chuck Osborne there. My goodness.
Yes, it was. We used to have a program called Charlie's Cartoon Clubhouse. He was on TV station before he became manager. Yeah. But it was great just to work on the program with her. As he said, he did it, and Cliff Rose, or Cliff Rose did it, he did it, and I did it. And it was wonderful just to be able to sit next to her and just do the interviews or just sit and listen to what she did.
When was the last time you've seen Easter on television?
That was it. It was not-
Yeah.
I think it was the day that we had the final program.
Really?
Yeah. I don't recall seeing any other videos since then.
When
You may have, but I don't remember.
When you see that 17 years later, what do you think?
I think what a woman she was and how even after she went off the air, and she was still on radio for a while. I used to go over and do some radio shows with her. Then, when she got very ill, cancer and so forth, I used to go over once a week, a little frequently, to have lunch with her, and just sit and talk about things until she passed.
Easter never was married, never had any kids. Sadly, that kind of, the line ends with her.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Because it was a terrific legacy. We had to fill in the blanks. Legacy, because after she left TV, I took over to do the show, but I changed the format because I couldn't do what she did. But it was a good feeling to be able to step into those shoes.
There was a little, and I want to clear this up right now. I'm glad you said that. There was a book written about Easter. I have a copy of it, and I think they still sell it at the college over there. There was a suggestion in that book that she might have been pushed out in the end. That was not true. No.
She felt it was time she was to get out of television. She wanted just to do radio.
Yeah.
Going back to the thing that she was most comfortable with. So she did.
Well, she made a lot of I talked to Grover Blazer once. We had dinner one time. That she knew she wasn't a beauty queen.
Right.
So she understood that radio was just more comfortable for her. She didn't like to see herself on television, things like
They
that.
said that TV's for beautiful people. What it really is, it sounds right.
That's right.
Right. Unless they look like Marianne was beautiful.
That's right. Marianne worked out okay. Easter Straker was what they used to call an institution in television.
It was what she said and what she did that was interesting.
If we have any time left at the end, there's a little more Easter we'll play today, just because I find her endlessly fascinating. But we do want to touch with Brenda Donegan today. Brenda Donegan's Ohio. Brenda, where are we going?
I think we're going to go to Sunbury. You know where Sunbury is, Scott?
I do.
Okay. We just happened to go through there Saturday. I had to go to a meeting over in Granville, and I thought, ooh, there's so much about Sunbury that a lot of people may not know, and it's close by, and since gas has gone up another 10 cents a gallon.
Never ending.
People just are thinking, keeping their purse a little closer to the body and a little closer to their pocket, I should say, and not going out too far. So as we were driving into town, the one thing that's always impressed me is that Fallen Heroes monument that they have just there on 37, just as soon as you get into town. And I was looking at it Saturday. It's so well manicured, and all those little white crosses out through there just give you goosebumps. And I think it's great that a village that small is able to honor the veterans the way they have. They also have the in addition to the Fallen Heroes Monument, they also have the Purple Heart Memorial Combat Wounded Memorial there as well. And both of them are privately funded. No tax money used, no public money used for either of them. And they're just really, really nice. So I guess you can call me probably overzealous, patriotic person, but I just love seeing places that want to honor our people men and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice and those who are serving today for our country. And as I said, that just hit me, and I thought, what else can we do close by that people can do free? And still, for your children, it can be a learning experience. It can be a history piece. The other thing about Sunbury is we drove on into town at the town square. They've got this beautiful old town building. I guess it's their memorial or their municipal building. But people were setting up for farmers market, and I thought, ooh, I saw them getting some fresh corn out and other produce and whatever, and I thought, gee, I wish they were open now. But it's open 9 to 1 every Saturday through the summer months. So if you're out and about and go in on a Saturday, you have the chance to take advantage of the farmers market there on that beautiful historic village square. Sunbury is also known for its antiques. They have 9 antique shops all along that main drag there. So if you're into antiquing, and I'm not, but I love looking at the different pieces that everyone has, be a good place to go and spend lots of time and reminisce and buy if you're an antiquer. But Sunbury is very unique. Also close by are fishing and swimming and boating opportunities with Alum Creek. And then for dining, I suggest Sunbury Grill. It's right across the street from the town square there. And they have really good food. It reminds me a lot of one of our local ones here in Marion, the OK Cafe. The food is very similar and very reasonable. And then there's also the Iacano's restaurant just down around the square there, also in downtown Sunbury, both very reasonably priced. So that's my trip for today.
It's a good trip, and you know what? I don't know if I'm an antiquer, but I do like to go to flea markets and things like that. You'll find some really interesting stuff there, some old magazines, sometimes old videotapes. Old clothing is kind of unique if you find it old enough.
On our way to West Virginia, we always go 37 and then get up on 70 eventually, and we eat at the Sunbury Grill all the time.
Their food's very good.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Sometimes your best food is found in these little
towns
that are mom and pop places.
Yes.
So.
and sometimes the outside doesn't look great,
That's
but
right.
the inside
Yes.
is good.
Never judge a book by its cover.
That's the way to be when it comes to food. Brenda, thank you as always. Very good piece there. And I know a lot of people have been paying attention to these segments. I've heard a lot of good feedback about them. We got about 8 minutes left in the program, and one thing about that Easter tribute that we didn't get to do was hear her voice. So I called the TV station over there in Lima. This is the beginning and the ending of her last program. George Dunster is the announcer. Easter Straker. It's coming. Hold on. And we got...
Good afternoon, everyone. It's midday in Lima, Ohio, and it's time once again for Easter's parade. First portion today brought to you by the Mac Camera Store, located at 119 North Elizabeth Street, right here in Lima.
And Easter Straker has been doing a talk show on WLIO in Lima, Ohio for 29 and a half years. She's going to hang them up at the end of this year, but I'll bet she doesn't quit because she's a lady of note. Congratulations, NBC, all those years.
Oh, Ruth Frazier, hadn't heard Swinging Down the Lane in so long. Oh. Now, I had a full hour on the couch with Bruce Mace on radio this morning, and I thought I was ready for this. I'm not.
Oh, I think you'll have fun.
Will you promise me that?
I promise you'll have fun.
I don't know a thing that's happening here today.
That's more detailed than the format you usually give us.
They wouldn't let me in the studio till 5 minutes ago. They wouldn't tell me what all this means. I don't have any idea what it means. But we're going to do it, whatever it is today, folks. And look at these wonderful friends over here in the studio audience. Would you look at that? Can we get a camera on? I'm not going to be any better about this stuff today than I ever was. I'm going to call for what I want, whether you're ready or not. Oh my, so many memories, so many nice people. Thank you so much. I'm not going to make this today. You might as well be ready for this. Oh, shall we? Now, you're going to have to tell me what to do today.
What you want to do here at the beginning of the open, then we want to go to commercial so we can get your first guest in here.
All right, I'd like to talk about all these beautiful flowers,
All right,
which
then
I
you
haven't
talk
had
about
a chance to see, but they have I've already dropped this once and got them all out of order, so they're not in order. It's
No, they're
my
back in
fault.
order now.
They're back in order?
Yeah.
Much else about it other than give it was $184, I believe, was the amount of that, and thank you very much for all of that. We've talked about the Teddy Bear Fund and how close that is to my heart. This was always my favorite picture of the youngsters with a teddy bear. I thought this was just absolutely the most charming one that we ever had. Now, how could you not put your heart in a project that the youngsters responded to like that? Well, our Million Pennies for Polio was perhaps the first big thing that we did. You helped me raise money to buy sheets and pillowcases and walkers for Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem after I broke my ankle there. We bought a bus for the children's home and countless TV sets for places around. And you sent so many cards to our shut-ins, one of which actually came to see me and said they saved his life. He was ready to cash it in until he found that people cared for him. Awards that have come my way have all meant a great deal to me, and I shall never forget a single one of them. The Humanitarian Award from the Frontiers Club, the La Sertoma Woman of the Year, the Sertoma Service to Mankind, the St. Rita's Mercy Club Awards. Awards like this are just, well, they give directions to your life because you have to live up to them. Virginia Krause, the lovely lady who gave the dinner a few years ago, the Easter Straker Days. I was the first one ever to be given a day in this town. That was the first one many years ago. A listener wrote to the mayor's office and suggested it, and it came into being. And of course, Eugenia Price's dedication of her novel Savannah to me has been one of the milestones in my life too. You saw some pictures of people that we interviewed. I guess Eleanor Roosevelt, Viktor Frankl, the great psychologist, and Jeannie Price were just simply, again, milestones that I shall never forget. The sponsors for their great financial support of our programs. We have always appreciated that they turned their advertising over to us and said, bring people into our stores, and that's what we've tried to do, and I thank you all, past and present. The special people who guested on the program, the regulars and the special, their interesting lives and information and activities were the bricks that built this program. And the co-hosts, all of them from Cliff Willis to George, including Walt Reno and Milt May and Tom Ryan and Barry McKay and Chuck Osborne and all of them. They have contributed mightily to whatever success we have had, and they too have become friends. Now these crew members that are so dressed up today, I don't even recognize them. If they had the T-shirts on, I could talk about them. But our floor directors, our camera people, our audio and video directors, the directors themselves, so many, including Hugh Reinhardt, who introduced me to Mabel Mercer and her music, Grover Blazer, who always looked for the finest way to present us all at our best, and Jim Garling, who's still calling the shots for us today, our last day, and Tim Byrne, whose interest in putting our best foot forward musically every day. what a pleasure to have him. After we lost our regular musicians who played for us, Tim took over with that. And Tony and Terry and Pauline and Jerry and Harry and, well, I can't name them, but they're all there, and I loved them. Stephanie Hemmer in the art department, who'd always give us a quick fix whenever we needed something done for the program. And Carolyn Newland, who always put on that great big heavy equipment and went out and shot all our special shows for us. Just marvelous people, and how could you do anything but the very best work when you're working with people like this? And Cheryl, our receptionist, who stood out there and took care of all of the organization of this program, the special scheduling and so forth, and kept me on top of what I should be doing. And George, your department has always been helpful, and you've just been great. And Bob Jones and Katie, who always had the paychecks ready when it came payday, I've appreciated them. I have thanked Doug Ferguson and Jim Dages, but I mean that sincerely when I say that the privilege of being able to work freely is one of the greatest gifts anybody can give you. The late Jessica Savage called us recognizable personalities, and that's a good way to describe us. We're that and nothing more. Each of us finds a constituency, a town and an area that adopts us and works with us, and you have been mine, and I am just grateful to you. Now, I've forgotten many people. I didn't mean to. Special events and activities, I hope you remember them very well. You've given me a life of travel, service, and support, and who could ask for more? And my thanks right now encompass you all. Can't do it.
My goodness, what an emotional moment. George, we're going to go a little long today, a minute maybe, but George, you were sitting next to Easter when she broke down there at the end. What was that like?
It broke me down. Yeah, I'm right now watching it. The same thing. I remember I reached over and just took her hand and held hands here. Which is what we did later on when we used to go see her before she died.
Amazing woman. Amazing. Brenda, you said your son used to listen to Easter.
Yeah, my oldest son started kindergarten at Furritt School in Lima, and he used to hurry home so we could watch Easter's program at noon.
Well, I left her ending, and it was a little long there for what we do, but I left it that way because remember this, when you go up in something like broadcasting, you thank everybody. That was a woman who certainly had the clout by the end. Look at all, she took time on her last show, 6 minutes to thank the cameraman, the floor guys, the people in the office. Where are the Easter Strakers today? That's the way she was. We're going to be back for our Friday episode tomorrow. Take care.